Hey guys, so it's Tuesday morning. I wanted to come on here and film my thoughts on Raw and I feel like where the company is headed, basically discussing that with you guys. Vinny went to work already, so he told me, film now, don't wait on him. So I'm going to just do that, quickly throw up a video for you guys. This weekend was so hectic because of NXT TakeOver Dallas and WrestleMania and all the editing that I've been doing. I'm so exhausted, but it's so worth it for you guys because I love you guys, so I want to freaking get every video possible out for you guys. Alright, so let's just dive into the mad thick of things here. Okay, with WrestleMania, I thought it was a fair show. I didn't think it was horrible by any means. It had its moments, but Raw was a different story. There was a pro and a con of Raw, and I'll get into everything. So, should I start off with the pros of Raw, or should I start with the cons? Maybe we should start off with the good, Okay, so the good thing about Raw is that it catered to a certain kind of audience. I feel like it's catered to, the true wrestling fan. And I don't mean that in like a, self-absorbed kind of way, but I do feel like it catered to an NXT crowd, which is one of us, one of me, one of Vinny, one of all of our friends are the same boat. We love NXT. So it definitely catered to the diehard fans who love NXT. Now, the reason I have an issue with this Raw is a multitude of reasons. I'm not saying it was a horrible Raw. I'm just saying it left me a little bit underwhelmed with the future of the company and the direction it's going. I feel like these storylines flip-flop dramatically in the span of 24 hours. So here's what I mean by that. How in the heck are you going to have Undertaker versus Shane be built up for 6 or 7 weeks, right? Taker win, and Shane controls Raw, even for one night. That was totally out of the question going in. So I don't know what flip-flopped. Even when Shane was running Raw last night, I was left wondering what the heck is going to happen in terms of the direction of the company. Like, where is it going to go? Who's going to be elevated now that it's the new season of wrestling? Because obviously there's always a new season after every WrestleMania. So, we're left wondering and guessing and all that kind of good stuff. But I didn't really like that they brought up a lot of these NXT guys who need a lot more work. Apollo Crews, why would you bring him up? He just started in NXT in August, the end of August. So what is that, 7 months, 7.5 months? He came in at TakeOver Brooklyn. So it's only like 7.5 months. Like, the guy, if any of you watch NXT, you'll know his mic work, not that I'm being rude, but it's atrocious. He needs so much more development to his character, honestly. He's a fantastic athlete. He's great in the ring, don't get me wrong, but I just really don't know why they brought him up so prematurely, is my question. Now, Baron Corbin winning the Battle Royal. I'm fine with it. Vinny loves Baron Corbin. I'm not going to sit up here and, be a bandwagoner and be like, oh my god, I love Baron Corbin. He's growing on me, that's one thing, but Vinny's been a fan of him since I could remember, about a year or so. It's got to be a year. So I definitely think he's a great heel. His mic work is really good. He's definitely improved in the ring. So with him being elevated to the main roster by winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, I'm fine with that. He had a fantastic match with Ziggler, albeit ending in a count-out. It's going to further a feud. Then probably going to face at Payback, which is fine. Yeah, I'm completely happy with it. Corbin is a good athlete, albeit he is learning still. So he's definitely a work in progress, but he's definitely not as bad as Apollo Crews. And I think Apollo Crews is a better wrestler, but Baron Corbin is like the total package. When you're a wrestler, you can't just wrestle amazingly to get over. You have to do other things as well. And I feel like that's where Baron Corbin makes up for it as a complete package. So Enzo and Cass also debuted last night. This was long overdue. While they got a huge pop, of course, that's to be expected, I felt like they kind of gave it away by wrestling at Roadblock. So it wasn't as special because it was to be expected. Now, let me say, Enzo Amore, that guy is incredible on the mic. Wow. He really, I would love to see a promo with him and The Rock going at it. Oh my God, that's like fantasy promo right there for me. While not like 100% on his in-ring ability, because I heard that he was never in the indies. He was like a gym rat and tried out, and they really liked his, gimmick from day one, and that's why they signed him. He is not a bad wrestler. He's not bad, but I definitely like him a lot better than Cass. But do I think Cass is going to go further in the company? Probably, because Vince loves that look. Everyone who watches wrestling that's semi-smart knows that Vince has a giant fetish. He's got a fetish for big dudes. So Cass reminds me of like Test, rest in peace to Test. I do like Test a lot. So, but yeah, I definitely see Cass as like a next big guy like that. I have nothing bad to say about these guys. I do prefer Enzo a little bit more, but I could see the company going a lot further with Cass just because of his stature. What else do I want to touch on? Let's see. Let's talk about the women's division, shall we? Okay, so I really, this is where I'm going to rant, you guys. So let me have my moment. Sasha Banks, my all-time favorite women's wrestler ever. Why in the hell are you gonna have her in a triple threat match at WrestleMania, right? Hear me out. And she doesn't take the pinfall at all. Becky does. Well, Becky submits, whatever. Becky takes the fall, and Sasha obviously is trying to get in the ring. Ric Flair is doing his heel moment by, withholding her from getting in the ring. So the next night on Raw, this is what I don't understand with the booking. She goes up against Summer Rae in what some will say a filler match, which I pretty much agree. And she defeats her in a minute, whatever, it was a squash match. Then, an hour later on Raw, they present Charlotte with the women's title, and she goes out, tries to cut a promo. And I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of Charlotte by any stretch of the imagination, but the fans were ripping her a new one. That poor girl was getting raped with the audience. Like, the fans were getting to her, and it was sad because her promo skills were getting so, they were feeling so lackluster because she was so stressed out and so nervous with the crowd reaction. They were really getting to her. You could tell that, and I felt bad for her for a second. The crowd was awesome, but at moments they were a little obnoxious, and I think they even admitted that themselves by saying, "We are idiots." I thought that was really funny. But, what I don't understand is they're going to feud, they're making a feud now, Natalya versus Charlotte. What in the world are they doing with Sasha? And don't give me that, oh, she was in Mania. No, that's bullshit. She didn't take the fall. She should have her fucking chance, Sasha deserves this more than anyone right now, Paige is amazing as well, but Paige has had her time. Let Sasha have a fucking title, please. I don't get it. I'm not shitting on Natalya. I think Natalya's an amazing wrestler. But how old is Natalya? 34? Come on. Sasha's only 24 years old. I mean, let her have her moment. I mean, a friend of mine thinks that Sasha's going to have her moment at SummerSlam, defeating Charlotte. If they give Charlotte the title that long, that's insane. What an insane run for her. She's very fortunate. But, I'm biased because I am going to SummerSlam. So if Sasha were to win at SummerSlam, I would start crying legitimately because Sasha is incredible. That's not to take away from Natty and Charlotte. They put on an incredible match at Roadblock. So, I'm assuming that they're going to have a match at Payback with the Hart family versus the Flair family. It's a one-on-one match, but that's what the feud is basically based around. So, yeah, I guess Sasha's going to have her moment in the summertime, which, whatever, I guess I'll deal with it, but I wish she had her moment now. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video and what everyone is thinking. So, Roman cuts a promo. Honestly, I'm not a Roman fan at all, but it really wasn't a bad promo. I feel like smug Roman is the best Roman. So his promo basically consisted of, the summarized version is, I'm not a good guy, I'm not a bad guy, I'm the guy. So that to me kind of says, okay, well, the dude's gonna turn heel pretty soon. And I'm confused as to where this is headed, and I have two reasons why. Now, 4 guys come out to the ring basically saying they want a title match. Chris Jericho, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, love you, Kevin, and Sami Zayn. So all these guys come out to the ring. Now, here's what I don't understand. AJ Styles lost his match at Mania against Chris Jericho. Kevin Owens lost his IC title against Zack Ryder. Sami Zayn also lost as well in that latter match. So how are you going to come out there when 3 of you lost at Mania and you're going to demand a title match? In what world does that make sense? What? Like, even though I love all these guys in the ring, I'm trying to be fair. I'm like, where does this make sense? It has no tie-ins, basically, to Mania. So my issue with this is that even though none of these guys except Jericho won, why are they automatically in a fatal 4-way? I know Shane was booking Raw, but that doesn't make sense to me, even though I love most of these dudes. So basically what happens is, anyone who watched Raw knows that Sami Zayn was taken out of the match. Kevin Owens beats him up when Zayn was cutting a promo backstage. The match gets started and Lillian Garcia gets on the mic saying Sami Zayn is unable to compete in the match because Kevin Owens beat him up backstage. So then Cesaro returns. And I marked out, you can ask anyone, Vinny was right next to me, I marked out, I love Cesaro. There's no one who loves Cesaro more than I do. However, this is a big however, how are you going to have a guy who had an incredible pop last night return after being out of action for 4 to 5 months and lose? In what universe does that make sense? You guys feel me? Like, do you guys feel me? Like, where does that make sense? Like, what? Wait, what? AJ Styles won the Fatal 4-Way. Now, I'm fine with that. I love Styles, just like the next person. I think he's great. But what I will say is, I feel like either one of 2 things are going to happen. Either they had Styles win because he's like one of the ultimate baby faces in the company right now. So maybe they're having him go against Roman to solidify Roman's heel turn. The ultimate babyface against the future ultimate heel, which could be Roman, and I say could be because we're not sure yet. Or the second option, which is my fantasy right now, booking wise, to have the Balor Club debut as a stable to help out AJ Styles for Payback and putting AJ over and AJ winning. Like, wouldn't that be everything? So it would be Finn Balor, Ken Anderson, Doc Gallows, formerly known as Luke Gallows in WWE. He was in the Straight Edge Society with CM Punk, if you guys remember that, like 5 to 6 years ago. And of course, AJ Styles. However, I do think that this stable would have to be a heel stable for it to succeed. I would be totally fine with AJ defeating Roman, even though I feel like this is kind of a stretch. I think that they want to keep Roman as champion until at least SummerSlam. But wouldn't it be amazing, you guys, if Styles defeated Roman with the help of the Balor Club? Clearly, Roman would have to be a face at that point, so I'm not really sure where they're going with that. If they were to keep Roman as a face, I would die in the best way possible if Styles turns heel. Oh my god, and the Balor Club debuts. Oh my god. I think everybody would love that. It would definitely revamp the direction of the company for the better, and I think everybody would be okay with that. I don't know one person who wouldn't want that to happen. You know, most people don't want Roman as champs. But yeah, like, you can tell that the booking is all over the place. You could tell, like, a lot of last minute decisions are being made because, you know, these guys, if a majority of these guys who had an amazing Raw ended up losing in Mania, you could tell people don't really know what they're doing in terms of the booking decisions backstage. You know, AJ lost at Mania, but he had an incredible night on Raw. He was the person who had the best showing on Raw and had the best outcome. So isn't that funny how it works? How you lose at Mania, but you win the next night on Raw and then go on to Payback in a few weeks and face Roman for the title. What? I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm just, like, trying to wrap my head around how that makes sense, how that could change so dramatically just in the span of 24 hours. It just, like, poses the question to me, is Vince McMahon that feudal that he has to change his mind so quickly? Like, I don't know. And also, I wanted to say that they're coming back with a lot of vignettes. So the Vaudevillains are debuting on SmackDown. So, you know, tonight was definitely the NXT show, basically. I'm fine with it, but I felt like some of these guys really didn't need to come up on the main roster just yet. Plus, this leaves a lot of speculation, you know, what's going to happen with NXT, with their talent, if a lot of these guys are being promoted to the main roster. I don't know what's going to happen. I want your guys' opinions on this Raw and where you think the company is headed. Also, what do you think about all these NXT stars debuting? In conclusion, I was left very underwhelmed because I wanted a massive debut. I felt like all these NXT guys, while they're decent guys, it wasn't a massive debut as I was hoping. And usually the Raw after Mania, we either get a massive debut or a massive return. I love Cesaro. Anyone who knows me, I love him. But he's a mid-carder right now. Even though he deserves more than that, he is a mid-carder. Yeah, so I was left slightly underwhelmed. I want to know, were you guys slightly underwhelmed or not? Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and please subscribe for more videos down below. And I'll be back soon. Love you guys. Bye.